Yarrow, born May 31, 1938 and died January 7, 2025, was an American singer and songwriter who found fame as a member of the 1960s folk trio Peter, Paul, and Mary. Yarrow co-wrote, with Lenny Lipton, one of the group's best-known hits, Puff, the Magic Dragon. He was also a political activist and supported causes that ranged from opposition to the Vietnam War to school anti-bullying programs. Yarrow was convicted in 1970 of molesting a 14-year-old girl, for which he was pardoned in 1981 by President Jimmy Carter. Peter Yarrow has an approximated net worth of around $5 million. Early life and education. Born on May 31, 1938, in New York City, Yarrow grew up in a progressive household that valued both education and social consciousness. His mother, Vera Weisbrod, was a teacher and social activist who significantly influenced his later commitment to social causes. He attended New York's High School of Music and Art before earning a Peter Psychology degree from Cornell University in 1959. During his college years, Yarrow began performing folk music and developing his distinctive singing and songwriting style. Peter, Paul, and Mary. In 1961, with the help of manager Albert Grossman, Yarrow joined forces with Noel Paul Stuckey and Mary Travers to form Peter, Paul, and Mary. The trio quickly became one of the most successful folk groups of the 1960s, their harmonies and socially conscious lyrics perfectly capturing the spirit of the times. They achieved significant commercial success while maintaining their commitment to social activism, performing at the 1963 March on Washington and numerous anti-Vietnam War rallies. The trio released 20 albums. Their self-titled debut studio album was released in 1962 on Warner Brothers Records and hit 1 on the Billboard 200 chart. The group's 1963 albums Moving and In the Wind reached 2 and 1 respectively. Their most popular singles include Lemon Tree, If I Had a Hammer, The Hammer Song, Puff, The Magic Dragon, Blowin' in the Wind, Don't Think Twice, It's All Right, I Dig Rock and Roll Music, and Leaving on a Jet Plane. Personal life and death. Peter married Mary Beth McCarthy in 1969, and they had 2 children, Christopher and Bethany. The couple divorced in 1991. Their son Christopher has followed in his father's footsteps as a musician, occasionally performing with him, while Bethany has pursued a career in film production. Maintained close relationships with his former bandmates throughout the years, particularly continuing to perform with Noel Paul Stuckey after Mary Travers' death in 2009. Peter Yarrow died on January 7, 2025, at the age of 86. He was a longtime resident of New York City. Career. A legacy of music and activism. Peter Yarrow began his public singing journey during his final year at Cornell University, inspired by Harold Thompson's American Folk Literature course, popularly known as Romp and Stomp. The course was a cultural highlight of the late 1950s, requiring students to sing and play the guitar. Yarrow's performances in the class, combined with community sing-alongs on weekends, sparked his passion for performing before large audiences. Upon graduating, Yarrow immersed himself in the folk scene of New York City, performing in clubs, appearing on CBS's Folk Sound USA, and at the Newport Folk Festival. There, he connected with manager Albert Grossman, who envisioned a group modeled after the Weavers for the baby boom generation. Yarrow, Grossman, and Mary Travers harmonized on Miner's Lifeguard and realized their voices blended beautifully. Travers introduced Noel Stuckey, completing the trio named Peter, Paul, and Mary. After 6 months of intensive rehearsals, the group debuted in 1961 at Greenwich Village's The Bitter End nightclub, quickly gaining popularity and signing with Warner Brothers. The trio's first single, Lemon Tree, released in early 1962, was followed by their Grammy-winning rendition of Pete Seeger and Lee Hayes' If I Had a Hammer. Their debut album, Peter, Paul and Mary, stayed in the top 10 for 10 months and sold over 2 million copies. The group became a cornerstone of the 1960s folk movement, touring extensively and producing hit albums. In June 1963, the trio released Bob Dylan's Blowin' in the Wind, which sold 300,000 copies in its first week and became a civil rights anthem. On August 28, 1963, Peter, Paul, and Mary performed the song during Martin Luther King Jr.'s March on Washington, cementing their place in the era's social activism. By 1964, Yarrow joined the Newport Folk Festival board, demonstrating his growing influence in the folk music world. Yarrow contributed to the trio's success by writing some of their most iconic songs, including Puff, The Magic Dragon, Day Is Done, Light One Candle, and The Great Mandala. He also earned an Emmy nomination for the Lifeline's live PBS special, which celebrated folk music and its intergenerational legacy. Beyond his work with Peter, Paul, and Mary, Yarrow co-wrote the hit Torn Between Two Lovers for Mary McGregor and produced 3 CBS specials based on Puff, The Magic Dragon, earning another Emmy nomination. He founded the New Folks concert series at the Newport and Kerrville Folk Festivals, with his work at Kerrville described as a significant contribution to the folk genre. Yarrow also performed alongside his daughter, Bethany, and cellist Rufus Cappadocia as the trio Peter, Bethany, and Rufus. They released Puff and Other Family Classics and aired a live performance in Peter, Bethany, and Rufus, Spirit of Woodstock on public television in 2008. Activism and social causes. Peter, Paul, and Mary intertwined music with activism, supporting civil rights, protesting the Vietnam War, and participating in events like the Selma Marches and the 1969 March on Washington. Their activism brought death threats, but their commitment to justice remained unwavering. In 2000, Yarrow founded Operation Respect, a nonprofit organization addressing school bullying and promoting tolerance. The initiative was inspired by the song Don't Laugh at Me, which Yarrow and his children discovered at the Kerrville Folk Festival. The program aimed to combat bullying, which Yarrow saw as a root cause of depression and teenage suicide. He linked these issues to the toxic role models often portrayed in reality television. Yarrow's activism extended to the campaign to free Soviet Jewry. His song Light One Candle, written in 1983, became a rallying cry for justice and inspired Rabbi Allison Bergman Van and others to engage in activism. Yarrow performed the song during the 1987 March for Soviet Jews in Washington, emphasizing the obligation to repair the world. In 2005, Yarrow performed in Vietnam to benefit Agent Orange victims, asking for forgiveness for U.S. actions. His activism continued with appearances in support of Barack Obama's 2008 presidential campaign and at Occupy Wall Street protests in 2011, where he performed iconic protest songs. Cultural contributions and leadership. Yarrow served on the board of Connecticut Hospice and the Braver Angels organization, advocating for unity and social progress. His role in fostering folk music through festivals like Newport and Kerrville left a lasting legacy in the genre. Peter Yarrow's career was a seamless blend of music and activism. From his early performances at Cornell to his global campaigns for social justice, his work exemplified the power of art to inspire change and bring communities together. Criminal conviction and pardon. In 1970, Yarrow was convicted and served 3 months in prison for taking improper liberties with 14-year-old Barbara Winter. In August 1969, she had gone with her 17-year-old sister to Yarrow's hotel room in Washington, D.C., seeking an autograph. Winter stated that Yarrow answered the door naked and made her masturbate him until he ejaculated. Yarrow served 3 months of a 1- and 3-year prison sentence. He apologized for the incident, saying that it was an era of real indiscretion and mistakes by categorically male performers. "I was one of them. I got nailed. I was wrong. I'm sorry for it." Yarrow was granted a presidential pardon by Jimmy Carter on January 19, 1981, the day before Carter's presidency ended. For decades, Yarrow avoided mention of the assault, but by the early 2000s, it became a campaign issue for politicians he supported. In 2004, U.S. Representative Martin Frost of Texas, a Democrat, canceled a fundraising appearance with Yarrow after his opponent ran a radio advertisement about Yarrow's offense. In 2013, Republican politicians in New York called on Democratic congressional candidate Martha Robertson to cancel a scheduled fundraiser with Yarrow. In 2019, he was disinvited from a folk music festival when the organizers were informed of his conviction. In May 2021, The Washington Post wrote that Yarrow's pardon by Carter, perhaps the only one in U.S. history wiping away a conviction for a sexual offense against a child, escaped scrutiny when it happened. It was granted just hours before the American hostages in Iran were freed, which captured headlines for weeks. The same article details other allegations of sexual assault of minors made against Yarrow, including the alleged rape of another teenage girl. Awards and honors. Yarrow received the Allard K. Lowenstein Award in 1982 for his remarkable efforts in advancing the causes of human rights, peace, and freedom. In 1995, the Miami Jewish Federation recognized Yarrow's continual efforts by awarding its Tikkun Olam Award for his part in helping to repair the world. Yarrow was awarded the Kate Wolf Memorial Award by the World Folk Music Association in 1993. In 2003, a congressional resolution recognized Yarrow's achievements and those of Operation Respect. Rest in peace, Peter Yarrow. Thank you for watching, and kindly subscribe, like and share this video to family and friends.